Hello. Today our lesson is going to be over something called the carbon cycle. Now for this lesson there's actually going to be two videos, one over the carbon cycle and one over the nitrogen cycle. I will tell you that typically this unit is a little bit difficult to follow, so as you're watching this video it is best practice for you to take notes as you go. That way you have notes that you can reference when you work on the practice problems and when you do your assessment. So let's go ahead and begin. What is carbon? Carbon is an element. You can find it on the periodic table. Its letter is C, and this element is the basis of life on Earth. All living things are made up of carbon, but carbon can also be found in non-living things like rocks. It can be found in the oceans. It can be found in the atmosphere. It's a very, very important element. Carbon is actually cycled through our Earth and through our atmosphere. We don't make new carbon atoms. They just move from one place to another. And this process is called the carbon cycle, and this is what we're going to learn about, is how the carbon moves between the Earth and the atmosphere. So first and foremost, trees and plants use carbon dioxide. They have to have carbon dioxide in order to survive. This is something that we've already learned. Plants do the process of photosynthesis, and one of the reactants, or one of the things you have to have in order to do photosynthesis, is carbon dioxide. So when those plants pull carbon dioxide from the air, they use it to make food, and we learned through photosynthesis that the food that they make is glucose. That glucose then gets stored in the plant. It becomes part of the plant. So the carbon that they took from the air is going to be part of that plant. Now, whenever animals come up and eat those plants, referencing last week, whenever animals are primary consumers, they're organisms that only eat plants, or if you also have an omnivore, something that eats plants and animals, anytime you eat a plant, you are taking in that carbon that is stored in the plant, and some of it is going to become part of your body. Remember that when we eat things, we take the nutrients, the minerals, all of the different elements, and they are used inside our bodies. So carbon is moved from the atmosphere to plants, and then when those are eaten, they're moved from plants to animals. Now, whenever plants and animals die, let's say you're out in the forest and you have a tree that dies, or you have a deer that dies, most of their bodies are going to get decomposed. We've got decomposers that live in the soil, bacteria, fungus, worms, all kinds of things that help to decompose these organisms that died. When those organisms get decomposed, that carbon that was found in the plant or the animal gets returned back up to the air. So that's one cycle right there, from the air to the plant to the animal back to the air. But not every single part of a plant or animal gets decomposed. Sometimes you have animals that don't get decomposed. Sometimes you have parts of animals like bones that don't get decomposed. And those parts, like the bones, are going to end up inside the ground. Eventually, over time, you might form fossils, or they might become fossil fuels. There are large deposits underground of things like oil and coal that are called fossil fuels. So whenever a plant does not get decomposed and it turns into a fossil fuel, that's the next step in the carbon cycle. It gets stored in that deposit underground until it is used later on. Now, the carbon that's found underground in those deposits, the oil in the coal, carbon that's found in rocks, normally they very, very slowly release carbon back up into the air. It's a very slow process. It takes many years for this to happen, and that's the second loop. So we would go from atmosphere to plant to animal to fossil fuel and then back up into the air. And this cycle just repeats over and over and over and over and never stops. This carbon cycle is always happening. And if for some reason that carbon cycle were to break, were to have something malfunction and not go right, it would affect all of the living things on Earth, because all living things have to have carbon to survive. So let's look at some pictures. I've got two different diagrams that I'm going to show you here. This first one has a lot of descriptions on it. So if we start here, if you'll follow my arrow, carbon in the atmosphere. that carbon in the atmosphere is going to get taken in by plants. Plants will use that carbon to make food. If the plant gets eaten, it's going to go to animals, and that carbon will be found inside the animal. And then when these two organisms, plants and animals, die, there are two options. It'll either get decomposed using decomposers and go back into the atmosphere, or they will not be decomposed, and after many years, they'll become part of our fossil fuel deposits, oil or coal. Now, once we have fossil fuels, there are two different ways that fossil fuels can get that carbon back into the atmosphere. The first way is if you just leave that fossil fuel alone, slowly over time, it's going to release some carbon. The second way that fossil fuels can release carbon into the atmosphere is through being burned. If you think about oil and coal, these are resources that humans use to help us get energy. We use them in factories, we use it in our cars, all kinds of things. So when we burn those fossil fuels, we release carbon into the atmosphere very quickly. Normally, it takes years and years for that carbon to get from the fossil fuel to the air. But when we burn them, it happens a lot faster, and so we increase the amount of carbon that's found in the air. Okay, here's another diagram. It's a little bit prettier. Again, our plants are going to go through photosynthesis. They're going to make that organic carbon, that glucose. Our plants will eat it, or our animals will eat it, or the plants will just die, and our waste products become fossils and fossil fuels. These fossils and fossil fuels will either release carbon dioxide on their own, or they're going to get burned up in cars, in factories, and release that carbon back into the air. There are two other things that I want to touch on with this picture. I picked this picture in specifically to show you a couple of things. The first is through respiration. Remember that plants do photosynthesis and animals do cellular respiration. Actually, plants do cellular respiration as well, just in a smaller amount. Anytime you go through respiration, you are breathing out or releasing carbon dioxide. So us as animals, as humans, we are also releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere all the time. Anytime you breathe out, you're putting more carbon dioxide into the air that the plant can take in. And the second thing that I wanted to look at was this bottom part down here where it says ocean uptake. We're going to talk for a minute about how the ocean is used in the carbon cycle. Carbon is stored in the ocean. A lot of animals pull carbon from the water and use it for their shells and things like that. And when those ocean animals and plants die, they find their way down to the bottom of the ocean and they get deposited there. Same way if you were to die on land, eventually you would get into the ground. The ocean is actually the Earth's largest storage place of carbon because it's so large and there's carbon found in the water and in the ground below the water. Now, humans have a giant impact on the carbon cycle. There are many things that humans do to that kind of throws the carbon cycle out of balance. First off, like I talked about, normally fossil fuels release carbon very slowly. But when we burn things, honestly, when you burn anything, whether it's a piece of paper or coal or there's a house fire, anytime you're burning anything, you're releasing carbon into the air. But with fossil fuels, because a large majority of that fossil fuel is made of carbon, when you burn fossil fuels specifically, it increases a lot of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And the problem that we come across is that increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increases the temperature of our atmosphere. This is called global warming, which I'm sure you've heard about before. Global warming describes something called the greenhouse effect. And this is whenever there are gases in our atmosphere that block heat from escaping. The heat cannot leave the atmosphere. It gets trapped inside, and eventually it's going to send that heat back towards the Earth. And so our temperatures on Earth increase. Our places that have ice, the ice is melting, things like that. This is all caused by compounds going into the atmosphere at a different rate than they're supposed to. So it's not just carbon dioxide that affects global warming or the greenhouse effect. Things like water vapor and methane and nitrous oxide, which we're going to talk about in the next video, all contribute to the problem of global warming. So that's one way that we impact the earth. The second way would be when we go and do deforestation and cut down trees, things like that, we're removing plants whose whole job is to take carbon dioxide out of the air. So if we have less plants, we have less organisms that can take that carbon dioxide and bring it back down into the plants and then into the animals. So our carbon dioxide amount in the atmosphere is just going to keep increasing instead of remaining balanced. So there are a couple things that you can do to help combat this problem. The first would be obviously to burn less. Don't burn things as often, especially fossil fuels. Decreasing the use of oil and coal and things like that definitely help with this effect. And then second would be to promote plant life. Planting plants, especially trees, because trees get so big and can take up so much carbon dioxide. The more trees we plant and allow to grow, the more balanced our system is going to be. So that's it for carbon cycle. The next thing that we're going to learn is about the nitrogen cycle. So make sure that you watch the second video on this page, because all of the work is going to be over both of the carbon cycle and the nitrogen cycle. All right, you guys have a great day.